Of all the things people are rushing to buy right now, gold, silver, Bitcoin, I think the most valuable investment you can make is the ability to keep your house running when everything else shuts off. Because if we had a bad ice storm here and the power went out for days, we wouldn't just be uncomfortable, we'd be in real trouble. And I never want to be in a position where I can't take care of my family because I'm completely dependent on the power grid. That fear, that vulnerability, is the entire reason we started investing in solar power in the first place. Not to be flashy and not to be trendy, but to be resilient. And today, I'm expanding our solar system so it can actually keep up with the way we live now, not the way we lived when we first started. Stick around because by the end of this video, I'm going to show you how much power this system can really handle, what appliances we can run, and why starting small might actually be the smartest way to build solar. Downstairs, we already have an EcoFlow Delta Pro, which we mostly use for things like charging devices, lights, and basic essentials. But upstairs, we built something completely separate, a backup system. Redundancy. Because if one system fails, I don't want everything going dark. Originally, upstairs was very simple. A 200 amp hour AGM battery, a small inverter, a basic charge controller, and just 200 watts of solar. At first, this setup was really just meant to charge phones at night. But as time went on, we realized something. This could be so much more. We wanted the ability to run real appliances, a freezer, a fridge, even an air conditioner for just a few hours during the hottest days of summer up here. So today, we're taking this system to the next level. Here's what I'm upgrading today. We're replacing the old battery with a 320 amp hour Lifepo battery. We're doubling the solar array from 200 watts to 400 watts total. And we're upgrading the charge controller so it can actually handle that solar input. And we're swapping out our small 1000 watt inverter for a 3000 watt pure sine wave inverter. This single upgrade changes what's possible up here entirely. And yes, there are a lot of moving parts. So grab a cup of coffee and I'll walk you through this step by step so you can see exactly how doable this really is. So I'll briefly share how this whole system works. We have solar panels outside and the solar is coming in here, and it first stops here at this charge controller. And this charge controller is sending power to a battery, and it's the battery that we're going to be swapping out for our new Lifepo battery. And the battery takes all the energy, stores it from the solar panel, and that puts power into an inverter. Now this is a small inverter. It's meant for just charging like power tools or running power tools and stuff like that. But it's not super powerful. This is a 1000 watt inverter, and we're going to be installing our much larger and more powerful 3000 watt pure sine wave inverter to replace this. So the battery is connected to the inverter, and it's converting all that solar energy into usable energy for using your electronic devices. Before we get into the wiring, I want to thank Enjoybot for sponsoring today's video. They sent over this 320 amp hour Lifepo battery, and honestly, it completely changed what this system can do. This battery actually stores more usable energy than our EcoFlow Delta Pro, but it's smaller, lighter, and designed for long-term stationary use. And the wild part, Lifepo batteries can last up to 5,000 cycles. After that, they're still operating at around 80% capacity, which means you're realistically looking at 10 years or more of reliable use. That kind of lifespan matters when you're building systems for the long haul. This new battery replaces our old 200 amp hour AGM battery, and the difference is night and day. It's lighter, smaller, more energy dense, safer, and it lasts dramatically longer. AGM batteries degrade much faster, and you really can't use their full capacity without damaging them. Lifepo batteries let you use almost everything you store. That's a huge upgrade. And a little later in this video, I'm going to be testing out exactly what we can power from this battery. Since we're increasing our solar array to 400 watts, the old charge controller had to go. It could only handle 260 watts. This new controller can handle the full 400 watt array that I'm setting up right now. Here is my replacement solar charge controller. It's a little bit different. This one's called the Adventurer. And this one can take up to 400 watts of solar, which is what we're going to be putting into this charge controller. You don't have to build the perfect system on day one. I started small. I learned and I upgraded as our needs changed. That's exactly what we're doing today. Next is the inverter. Originally, I was using a very small, inexpensive inverter, basically meant for a tiny Harbor Freight solar kit. It did the job, but barely. So now we're upgrading to a 3000 watt pure sine wave inverter. This is the piece that unlocks everything, because now we can run power hungry appliances, handle startup loads, and potentially even run an air conditioner for just a few hours when it's brutally hot upstairs. This is where the system goes from a nice backup to real power. Wow, I didn't realize how big this thing is. Holy moly. I can tell this is going to be super powerful. Alright, I think I like this. I got this, it's upside down, but I have it so it's an easy spot for us to access all the plugs and ports here in our upstairs bedroom area. And then on this side is where all of the connections go out and where they'll go into our new battery. So now I'm going to have to remove all of these cords and I'll get our new battery up here. And that's the first thing that you want to do when you're doing a solar system, is you want to connect the battery first. The solar panels are the very last thing that you want to do. You don't want to like do this in the wrong order and start a fire or anything like that. So we're going to get this disconnected and get the battery connected to the inverter and the battery connected to our new charge controller. It seems like it might be difficult to set up your own off-grid system, but I found that it's really not. It's just a couple of components and we're going to do it today. We're going to upgrade our existing small solar system and make it even more capable of powering more things. So this battery from Enjoybot is going to allow us to do that with its large storage capacity. So once this gets charged up, we're going to get started. So my next step here is to disconnect everything. I'm going to disconnect the battery, disconnect all these cables into the charge controller, and disconnect this little inverter. We'll use these for other projects. You can see how big this AGM battery is, this 200 amp hour battery. It's huge. It's really heavy. It's almost too heavy for me to carry by myself. You probably want to use two people to move this thing. But I am going to use this for a different application. I'm going to set this up outside. I think at some point this spring I'm going to set up an outhouse, outdoor bathroom space, and I want to have a small space inside the bathroom to house this battery and this charge controller to a very small solar array to power some water pumps for moving the rainwater that we catch for our garden. So this is still going to get another use, but the AGM battery will only last like, I think it's like 500 to 700 cycles. So the Lifepo battery, it's going to last way longer. So they might cost a little bit more, but in almost every metric, the Lifepo battery is just better than the AGM battery. Alright, now I'm going to connect into the new charge controller here. So I'm going to turn this around. This is the negative battery cable, so I'm gonna loosen that. There we go. Shove it in there, and then I'm gonna lock it tight. Screw. Yeah. I had trouble with my last charge controller of getting these really in there good, because I don't want these connections to fall out. Now let's get the positive side battery put in next. Alright, I got my battery cables connected. These other two ports are for the positive and negative solar, but we're not going to do that yet. We're going to do that last. That's going to be the last thing that we connect. Okay, so right here I have the Enjoybot 320 amp hour battery. This battery actually has more storage capacity than our EcoFlow Delta Pro unit, which is pretty cool. And this battery comes in at a much cheaper price than the EcoFlow Delta Pro. I mean, there's trade-offs to that too, because you still need to get all the other components to set up a solar system besides just the battery, but this is a really important part of your solar system. This battery can get 6,000 cycles before it only goes down to 80% capacity, and then you still get way more life after that. So this is going to last way longer than your AGM typical kind of lead acid battery. So that's a reason I really wanted to upgrade to this kind of battery. This battery also comes with an app that we're going to be downloading, and then we'll be able to monitor the health and everything about the battery in the app, and that's a pretty cool feature. I just downloaded the app that connects to this battery, and it came up pretty easy. My model, I'm going to connect. Oh, that's super cool. You can see it's at 53% battery. You can see all these other things. That's really neat. Wow, you could monitor the temperature. This is super cool. This could be very useful. This new battery from Enjoybot, I would say maybe 2/3 the size of the AGM battery, and it is so much easier to carry and move compared to this one. It's still heavy, but you could easily move it without straining, where this one, you'll really hurt your back if you don't. You really should move it with two people. I mean, you can move it yourself, but man, pain in the butt. But size there, it's a really slim profile on the Lifepo battery, and it just got so much more storage than the larger battery. Okay, so I just connected the battery. So the inverter is connected to the battery, and the charge controller is connected to the battery. And now charge controller has come to life. So what I'm trying to do here is connect 4 100-watt solar panels in parallel. And right now, up on that roof, I have had just 2 100-watt solar panels connected in parallel. So all I had to do for that was just connect the two with a parallel connector, and it brings those 2 panels into it. It essentially acts like one 200-watt panel instead of 2 separate panels. So now I'm going to up it to 400 watts with 2 more 100-watt panels, and I'm going to show you some components I'm using. I got these 4-to-1 adapters. There's one for a positive side and one for the negatives. And on this one, I actually have attached these solar fuses, because I read on some forums that this is something that you need when you're doing 4 panels in parallel like that, 4 100-watt panels. This is what you need to do. So I have the 4-way connector plus the fuses, so I'm going to try to connect them all right now. Yeah, these are Y branch connectors, so these are basically what allow you to run 2 panels in parallel together. So what I'm going to do is disconnect these parallel connections. Okay. All right, so I just got this all connected. I got these 4-to-1 connectors, and I got the one side with all the positive connections coming out of the solar panels have these solar fuses attached to them going into the negative. So that's cool. 4-to-1, and all of these wires are going directly into our house, and they'll be feeding our charge controller. For some of these panels, the wires were a little bit too far, so you see all this. I actually bought these solar extenders. It was just like another 6 feet of wire to extend connections, and luckily I had these 2. I was going to use them for my 2 other panels here. I was going to put these up higher and use these extenders, but I guess they're going to stay for now, and luckily I had these so I could connect. So now I have all 4 100-watt solar panels connected here. So this is the point where we need to connect our solar panels and make sure that the array that we just connected outside is actually bringing power into the house, because I think I did everything correctly, but this is my first time really doing what I'm doing, so we're gonna find out together. Hopefully we'll see that we'll start bringing in power to this charge controller. But right now, I'm gonna connect the positive and the negative cords from our solar panels. Shove it in there. Close it down tight. I marked these with tape because I couldn't tell the first time which one was positive and negative. Don't want to put them in the wrong spot. Put it down tight. Oh yeah, it's charging. That's a good sign. All right, we got 400 watts coming into our charge controller. That's great. Now I'm gonna set this up on the wall here in a permanent location, and we've got solar, man. We've got a brand new Lifepo battery. We got a crazy powerful inverter and an upgraded charge controller. All right. All right, so it's been about 2 hours that I've had this plugged in, and the battery was at about 60% when I connected the solar panels to it, and just that time we got it up to 81% already. So maybe if we get enough sunlight, we'll get it up to 100% by the end of today. That's pretty cool. Our 400 watts are doing a good job charging up this battery. Now you can actually connect 4 of these batteries in parallel, and if you were to do that, you would have over 1200 amp hours. That's a very large battery bank that could power almost anything. So that's the kind of thing that looking forward, at least for us in the future, that's the way that you get real self-sufficiency, is having the big battery storage to be able to store all the energy that we're bringing in from our solar panels outside. And now with this big inverter, we'll have to test this out and see exactly what we could power from the sun. As for testing the system, here's what I know. Simple things like, say you're someone who uses a CPAP machine. I once did. I connected one all night last night while also charging my cell phone, and the battery only drained 4%. Our EcoFlow Delta Pro has 3,600 watt hours and claims to be capable of running many different appliances. This battery from Enjoybot is a higher capacity than that. We could power a fridge, microwave, washing machine, TV, even an air conditioner. For how long, I'm not exactly sure, but we will likely test that out later this year. My math tells me our mini fridge would run on the EcoFlow at full charge for 3 to 4 days, so it should run even longer on this Enjoybot battery. Long term, I am interested in using this battery to power a small chest freezer, which I believe will be more energy efficient than a fridge because they really don't run that often once it gets up to temperature. And newer models have great technology and are really becoming more energy efficient. To me, I'd rather have a freezer full of meat and other things than a fridge with just a few fresh things. I am realizing that long term, I want to start expanding this battery bank as I can afford to do, since these batteries can be connected up to 4 together in parallel, massively expanding your storage, giving you true off-grid energy. We could power so much more than just a small freezer with that kind of power. But again, we're learning as we go what we actually need and only getting pieces as we can afford to do that. This battery from Enjoybot, I have a special code for all of you that you can use and a link in the description below, so check them out on their website. Between solar power and our wood stove, our entire mindset has changed. The wood stove keeps us warm cheaply and reliably. Solar gives us independence from outrageous electric bills, especially during extreme cold or heat. Solar isn't cheap, but starting small made it possible. One component at a time, learning as we went, expanding only when it made sense. And now, we have a system that actually supports the way we live. If you've ever felt uneasy about being completely dependent on the grid, or wondered if solar was even realistic, I hope this video showed you that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You just have to start. We purchased an antique fridge last year, and we have it downstairs, and next week, I am finally going to be testing whether it can actually hold temperature and work as a refrigerator. So stay tuned next week as I try to use a 120-year-old fridge without electricity, just like they did in 1902. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.